Hey, what's up, everybody? Draft University back in session. I'm your host, Corey O'Neill, to further our series on the 2024 NFL Draft. Again, I love a good list. Who doesn't, right? Top 10s, Rushmores, things of that nature. I love to rank shit. So we already looked at day 2. I'm back to look at day 3 and my top 10 favorite picks from the third day, Saturday, of the 2024 NFL Draft weekend. And again, these are in no particular order in terms of, 10th favorite to first favorite. They're in sequential order as they occurred during the draft. So there you go. Let's start in the 4th round and go to the 107th pick with the New York Giants and Theo Johnson, tight end out of Penn State. And this became a big pick immediately upon finding out about the rumors of Darren Waller possibly considering retirement. I'm a Penn State fan, full disclosure, and James Franklin speaks highly of him as a leader and a locker room guy. He's a good red zone target, 6'6", 260 pounds, good hands. Theo Johnson's also a willing blocker in the run game, which is a huge asset as well. The Giants added Malik Nabers, obviously, with the 6th overall pick. You fill the void left by Xavier McKinney's departure to Green Bay with Tyler Nubin in the 2nd round. I really like Theo Johnson as a player, and if Darren Waller does decide to hang him up, he's somebody that could step in and contribute on both facets on offense for the Giants from day one if his number's called. With the 110th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Javon Baker, wide receiver out of Central Florida. I really like what New England did in the draft. You get your guy at quarterback with Drake May, take the receiver with Jalen Polk in the 2nd round out of Washington. Then you start day 3 with another wideout here with Baker, who's a former 4-star recruit, transferred from Alabama after being buried on that depth chart, kind of that peak golden age of Tide receivers behind the likes of Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, John Mechie, Jameson Williams. All he did at UCF was just flash the type of threat that he can be. He's explosive, creates separation, can win on contested catches, can line up outside on the perimeter and the slot. This is a great value, high upside pick by the Patriots to add more talent there for Drake May down the road after already adding Jalen Polk out of Washington on night 2 early in the 2nd round. With a 117th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Tanner Bortolini, offensive lineman out of Wisconsin. How can you not smile when you say that name, right? You never can go wrong with an offensive lineman out of Wisconsin. He's got excellent technique, quick feet, scheme versatile as a run blocker. This guy can play center or guard for you in Indy. And when you have center Ryan Kelly and guard Will Freeze, both their contracts are up after this season, so Bortolini potentially could be a seamless transition for the Colts at either position. One of my favorite offensive linemen in the draft. Again, you can never go wrong with somebody out of Wisconsin in the trenches. With the 130th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select TJ Tampa, corner out of Iowa State. This was one of the biggest steals of the draft, in my opinion, and I don't think that's like a fucking revelation on my part. This is a typical Eric DeCosta pick, just letting the board fall to you and snagging the best player available regardless of position. And it just so happens to be a position of need for Baltimore, who've, got young depth now after you take Nate Wiggins in the 1st round. 6'2", 190. Tampa's got length, physical. He's a good tackler, scheme versatile guy. He was a projected day 2 pick. I had a 2nd round grade on him. Incredible value for Baltimore, which is what Eric DeCosta does, and that's why that roster top to bottom is always so good. With the 141st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, we're in the 5th round now. The Buffalo Bills select Cedric Von Pran, center out of Georgia. Buffalo moved back a lot in this draft and used those added picks to address those positional needs. I really like what the Bills did, and if you can add a little depth along the offensive line, that never hurt anybody. And Von Pran's reliable, started 44 consecutive games for the Bulldogs. He's a great run blocker. The Bills had Mitch Morse signed with Jacksonville at free agency. You got Connor McGovern to slide over from guard, but Van Pran gives Buffalo necessary depth at an area that was viewed as a potential weakness entering this draft. I like what the Bills did. Moving back, you had Keon Coleman. This is a good piece here. You had Osiris Torrance last year. A couple nice young pieces for the Buffalo Bills along the offensive line. With the 155th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jeremiah Trotter Jr., linebacker out of Clemson. This is the pick that every Eagles fan wanted to see on day 3. His pops is obviously an Eagles legend, the fucking Axeman. We love Trotter. And his son's just an incredibly intelligent player, quick to diagnose, a good tackler, effective on the blitz. You'll see him fill up that box score. Pro Football Focus had Trotter Jr. as their highest graded linebacker in this draft class. Just a tremendous value pick by Howie Roseman at a position that he typically does not give a lot of attention to. This was one on my wish list as an Eagles fan. After Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. After Cooper DeJean, I said we could draft 6 punters for the rest of the weekend and I wouldn't give a shit. I was wrong. This put it over the top. Trotter Jr. to Philly. With 184th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, moving to the 6th round where the Miami Dolphins select Malik Washington, wide receiver out of Virginia. And this is just more speed for the Dolphins on offense. And, you know, Washington transferred over from Northwestern to Charlottesville this year, where he put up 1,426 yards on 110 catches for 9 scores at the University of Virginia. He's a quick game guy. Wes Welker's going to know how to use him in the slot, obviously, and Mike McDaniel's going to see him as a gadget guy and be able to get him involved. Smooth hands will get you plenty of yak yards. Just a nice pickup for an offense that can never have too much speed. Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane. I mean, the Dolphins can fly, and this is going to be somebody who I think can be in that competition for the wide receiver 3 spot. The Malik Washington for a 6th round is absolutely going to make the roster, final 53-man roster for the Miami Dolphins. With the 210th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Christian Mahogany, guard out of Boston College. I was shocked to see Mahogany fall to the 6th round. And to be honest with you, I wanted to see Howie Roseman snag him up for Jeff Stoutland to work with. But if he couldn't be an Eagle, I love him in Detroit. 6'3", 314 pounds, started 3 seasons in Boston College, played both guard spots. There's the torn ACL in 2022, but he rebounded from that this past year, was able to play. A tough physical player, just a mauler, good anchor and pass pro. And the Lions already have an awesome offensive line, one of the best in football. They just extended one of their best pieces in Penei Sewell, one of the best in the game this past weekend. But both Kevin Zeitler and Graham Glasgow are both north of 30 now at the guard spots. So at the minimum here, Detroit gets a backup with very good potential and upside who could develop into a nice starter down the line, depending on what happens with those 2 guards after this season. Let's move to the 7th round and the 229th pick, where the Las Vegas Raiders select M.J. Devonshire, corner out of Pitt. The Raiders are another team. I really like what they did in the draft. You had pieces on both sides of the ball, Brock Bowers, Jackson Powers-Johnson in the first 2 rounds. And then you had 3 DBs in a division with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. Devonshire has plenty of experience, played over 50 games in 5 years at both Kentucky before he transferred to Pitt. Pesky in coverage, 21 PBUs, 8 career interceptions, 3 of which he returned for a touchdown. So don't let him get his hands on the ball or he can make you pay. He also returned punts for Pitt as well. And I love the attention that the Raiders paid to their secondary to add that depth on the back end. To Cameron Richardson out of Mississippi State, Ed Reed's cousin Trey Taylor out of Air Force, a few picks before Devonshire, and then you had Devonshire as well. Nice depth pieces to round out that secondary in a division that can throw the ball around. With the 255th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Kalen King, cornerback out of Penn State. Now, Again, prior to the start of the 2023 season, it wasn't uncommon to see King's name appear in those way too early mock drafts you see over the summer. And yes, he took a step back in 2023 and didn't really stand out at the combine at all. Didn't wow anybody, which explains the slide he took. But the 7th round is fucking absurd, okay? 15 PBUs and 3 interceptions in 2022 before, yes, an incredibly down year in 2023, but you've got that upside there. You aren't one of the best corners easily in one of the best conferences in college football by mistake for an entire season. Sauce Gardner tweeted that folks are sleeping on Kalen King while he was still on the board during the draft. And, you know, he joins an already young group of corners behind one of the best in the league in Jair Alexander. The Packers are another team. Last couple of years have drafted, you know, pretty well, and I really like what they did here with their last pick in the draft. Kalen King's as good as you can get in terms of upside at that spot. So what do you think of our list? Did your team or your favorite player make the list? If not, let us know. We'd love to hear it. So comment yours in the comment section below and hit that subscribe button for more content to come on the 2024 NFL Draft before we close that out, and way more NFL Draft content to come as we look back, you know, not only forward to next year's draft, but look back on draft history as well, drafts of the past. So make sure to hit subscribe. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.